Okay, so today is like a little bonus episode of Paladins because we technically finished the Gauntlet last time, basically by checking the box of just play every single champion in the game, or the alternative could have been just lose on everyone before you get the chance, and whatever. The criteria for doing that wasn't too difficult, just like every week you're getting a couple free ones, so it's not like you're really going to run out, but whatever. We touched every single one, so I just want to give Nyx the fair shot to basically win or lose or go on a good streak or bad streak the same way that everyone else did. So I won one game to end last time with her, so she gets another chance here. And hopefully we'll see how clutch of a Permadeath player I am, clearly from my whole career in Permadeath games, that I should clutch it. And this should go on for like 25 games or something, because we didn't have a run quite like that in this game that we sometimes like to sort of show as emblematic of this format, that you should have at least one of those out of all the characters in the game or all the teams in NBA 2K or whatever game I do this in. You should at least have one really good streak like that happens. But actually, that might not be a bad idea for the next one. Let's do a 2K fucking format with it, which we could. That's one of the really classic ones that I always like to do. You go through every team in there until you lose. But basically, that's also what this is. It's a bonus episode to kind of end this, or if it continues even with her, then that's fine with me too, into another episode. But basically, we're seeing how clutch we can be. And you know what would have been so cool is if a new champion came out here, just to sort of show at the beginning of the series when we first started, Omen had just come out, or he came out like shortly into it. So that set like sort of a bad omen for the whole playthrough, and that's why we did so badly. But on the flip side, it would be so cool if we got one now. That way we can pad it even further. Instead of just having Nyx, we would get a second one. That would have been really awesome, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. In fact, you could tell even from here that nobody is, everybody has a mastery level, and so we beat the game. We beat a multiplayer game. So yeah, I'm kind of debating what next I should do. I was thinking about Smite. I was thinking about League of Legends. It basically just has to be any game that has like a host of characters that you can go through, like this or Overwatch or like those, where you can just, you play as and it's not permadeath in the literal sense. That's always what confuses people. Like, for example, if you die during the course of a match, that doesn't mean that you're dead. Like, you can't play as that character anymore. It just means that as a team, like, you go into a 5v5 game in League or whatever, right? And if you lose the game, then you have to play as a different character. If you win the game, you keep playing as that one until you lose. When you run out of all of them, whether that means that you've played all of them, or it means that you can't afford anymore, because it's also free to play in that sense. Like, so here we relied on a lot of the free ones that we got every week. But without that, if you can't afford them, like in Overwatch, or you can't unlock them until you get to a certain level or whatever, then it ends prematurely that way too. So that's the way to almost fail it. Like, there's still like 20 characters left, but you don't have enough gold to unlock them or whatever. So you should earn that amount of gold in the course of the run. So I only earned like 150 or something. Right, and I had to spend that to make up for the fact that the free ones weren't quite enough, but at least that's what I got. And then I had like a couple champion tokens. In fact, I still have one, so it would be really cool if another one did unlock. But yeah, we'll test my clutch abilities with Nyx, and then we will test my, basically, whatever, if people suggest something interesting. But I think Smite would probably have to be the one, unless I take a break from this format for a little bit, but I kind of don't want to. Just like to do random multiplayer games and stuff without any format, but I'm not the type to really do that. We get to enjoy the skin here on the front page, but the point is that this game is pretty good. I enjoyed it, despite, whatever people might say, oh, it's an Overwatch clone. We get that part, but even then, I think it does a pretty good job. It was definitely better than I would have expected it to be. So, yeah, we're thinking about Smite, we're thinking about League, we're thinking about... there were a couple other ones that I had mentioned. Now I can't really remember them. But let's try to play with... See, now there's almost no pressure, right? Because we're already done with this where, we're not really playing for anything else or to extend the series. So you would think maybe you should play better now, but... Or the pressure is arguably the highest ever because we really want this one to matter. It depends how you look at it, but basically, we should go on a crazy long streak with her. Go on a streak with her long enough until they release another character, which the way this game works, it seems like, imagine what an insult it would be if somebody actually stole that from me. the one and only thing that I have left, even if I was flexible enough to play others. But let's look at our actual abilities. It was you just punch stuff, dealing 200. First 3 hits for 425, for last 2. Deals extra on chains. Has no ammo or reload. I guess that's kind of a good face roll way to look at a character that I should like. Why is this guy saying wow? Queen of Change, gain up to 20% bonus healing. I don't even remember reading this last time. 20% bonus healing objective point, 10% bonus healing mass without an objective. That's weird. Fire projectile behind Abyssal Rift explodes. Okay, this is the shield, and then this is the poison aura. Any damage you take is instead stored, so that's just whatever defensive purposes. Tear a rift into the abyss, becoming CC immune, 100 damage, pulling them in. The only one I don't understand is the right click. After reaching the max distance, hold down. I don't know what it does. Fuck. Clearly I am an expert on this character because I played her one time last time and we actually won the game. At least that would have ended it on a positive note, that we actually won a game period ever in this game, which is apparently, like, these games are always way more competitive than you'd expect them to be at this low rank, literally unranked, and yet people still try hard it. That's even worse though in Overwatch, to be fair. If they pass through Abyssal Fortress, Abyssal Breach, Show of Force, whichever one that gives you more health, I tend to like. 300 health, subjugation, increase the strength of the rift pulses, increase the health of that. I forget what I did last time even, but what is our team comp even? We have Khan, we have the little Ratchet and Clank dude who is supposed to be a healer, we have the Lux guy, and then we have the Tarek or whatever. What the hell is that guy's name in Overwatch? I keep forgetting all the characters that I try to make references to. Right, like Torbjorn or whatever. Yeah. Trying to think. I mean, almost any game, like Smash Brothers could be a game that you do for this, or whatever, where you go through every character until you lose or something. The right click you're just doing as like a static attack almost. So when the shield runs out, you do this for a little bit, and that should help. Very annoying that we can't kill her though. So use the shield a little bit. The F can be good at times. I mean, I'm expecting and hoping the heals would keep me alive here, but I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Okay, we're somehow staying alive, so the heals must be of some substance here. I don't know. Good. Put the Q down. Sometimes if you double tap abilities like that, it'll cancel it, and then you still have to wait for the cooldown. So that's what's so annoying about it. I honestly don't understand the right click, I must admit. The F I kind of just wasted there. Tyra Banks a bit of a clown. So yeah, it's good with this combo of tanks that we have at our disposal, where you're able to basically just fucking Maybe just does that all the time, where she never dies. Too many evasive maneuvers and shit. Buck I always make fun of as sort of a clown who's able to you know, here's always the big decision in these games, like whether you're able to think that you can, should you use your ult now to like try to push for the second point, or you should just save it for the beginning of the next round and see if that's good enough. And that I don't really know. Or what, they polymorphed us at just right the perfect time? Like, you're not really playing for anything at this point, as long as you get the first point every time. Okay, we survived pretty well. I don't know why it always falls apart at that point. It's not really that different than just earning the first point. Which doesn't mean we've even accomplished anything, because they get the point right back. It's very hard to get the double, but if we do as well there as we did in the beginning, it would be fine. The shield is pretty nice. I don't like the fact that, you know, I always like the ones that are like Reinhardt style ones or whatever, where it's like, you know, you are the shield basically. You bring the shield kind of with you and everything. But the problem with this one is the fact that it's basically like, you know, it's stronger the closer you are to it, so it encourages that anyway. But it's kind of like, I don't know. See, we're not going to be able to do it though. That's the problem, right? It's very touch and go with how you do this. Like, look how aggressive we're being with this clown, dude. Where's your fucking healer? Where's anything? Or sometimes you can get in like the overtime perspective of it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That F can be such a lifesaver. We're probably still dead, but I'm not the type to really play super evasive or defensive. See, we're still not going to be able to do it though for some dumb clown shit reason. I'll block the payload with my big ass booty here. Overtime should be good. Perfect time to do it. Okay. We're playing serious, like we actually are playing for something, but I don't know if I deserve credit. It's, you know, it'll come down to, oh, this team is actually just good and it has nothing to do with me. Just like how every time I lose it's because the team is bad. But when you do a format like this, which I almost take ownership of this format, like this is just something I always used to do with games, and this is just something very, what I'm all about is the idea that, you know, you kind of bring high stakes to it in a multiplayer sense that's a little bit unique. And so the whole point is that you can't really use that as an excuse, right? If I win in 100 in a row, I did well. And if I lose 100, if I lose every game, right, and I keep losing champions back to back, that's my fault. It doesn't matter if it's team based, it doesn't matter multiplayer. You should be able to carry your team if they do bad, or you should be able to not be so bad that you don't hold them back or whatever. So as long as you're part of it, that's the thing. Maybe such a fucking clown sometimes. Here we go here, a little bit of fire. And actually, if somebody flanks us around, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but almost do have to back off. You have to know when to, you know, pick your battles here. Definitely abuse the Q. You got the two shields basically on top of each other. There's arguably probably some better way to do it, where you're trying to basically, where you're trying to basically, oh wow, we were 4% off too. Are you serious? You're trying to do it in such a way that you would use the shield somehow together, synergistically to, you know, like one covers one side, the other covers the other side. You could have like 4 characters and be completely surrounded by them in a certain way. You're getting kind of too distracted by that, but this dude's a clown too. Well, we should have it. 99% overtime. I don't know where everybody is clowning around. I'd love it if this game had stats like the accuracy category, like in other ones. Basically, the ability to, you know, see what percentage of shots you're actually landing, because you would see what a laughably low amount it is. But there's almost no downside to doing it here, in the sense that maybe this auto attack is just what I'm all about. You don't have to worry about reloading compulsively in the OCD manner that I often do. Literally fucking walk your bitch ass down, dude. What do you think this is? I never really understand what that is, I'll be honest with you. Push it, we got plenty of time here at least. Maybe I just don't fucking like you, clown. Okay, go ahead and do this shit. You got no chance. Or somehow you'll come to find out that you're just playing against bots a lot of the time. Fuck. That maybe it didn't have the killer instinct, really. Or you should do a lot more with that the closer you get, because you're actually punching them with your fist, in addition to whatever kind of shenanigans. Could you maybe heal me for like a second here, dude? I got 300 health. What kind of dumb shit moment was that? Or I guess the healer just probably died. Okay, we win without even... But we got both that last point and this one, I think, while we were dead. But we're obviously contributing to the team effort. So that was good. This is still one of our best streaks in the whole game, with a character that obviously is only 2 wins, but still. Like, it's the best we can do, because I forget what the highest one actually was. It was only like 4 or 5 though, so it's basically like, it sucks. Damage wise, 48, 67 shielding. So I was actually the #1 on damage too. Whether that means our team sucked or whether that means I actually did well, I can't really say. So yeah, let's think about what some other games that would be suited for this are. I feel like there was one in particular I mentioned, and now I can't remember what it was. Maybe something a little bit off the wall. Just any game that has a lot of different characters, champions, whatever types of things to play as. You can even do it with like games that you wouldn't expect, like Battlefront, where every, you know, you do like the duels or whatever, and every character has their own life, like Darth Maul and stuff. Or you could do it like with some kind of even a vehicle-based game like War Thunder or World of Tanks, where every tank, every vehicle has its own life, so you play as that one in every game until you lose one. And so it can restrict you in such a way that even if it's a game where you're allowed to switch mid-game, in this case I'm not allowed to do that. Like in Overwatch, you can switch right in the middle of a match to a different champion, which I always dislike that a little bit. It seems kind of weird, but you can keep doing it like 100 times over. But basically you have the ability to you have to commit to one and one only. So even if you had that in a game, you wouldn't be able to use it, like the ability to switch out and stuff like that in the middle of a game. Admiration Ray. All these stupid daily quests that I probably missed out on, but now there's nothing to even do because we've gone through every character. So literally, unless a new one unlocks, I have nothing to really play for, aside from the fact that maybe, I don't know, yeah, there really would be no point. And I always put like, oh, there's at least a 6-month cooldown before I can play it again, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Like the series itself has gone on for more than 6 months, but that doesn't matter. Like we'd be able to play Overwatch 2 again now because it's been over 6 months. But in general, as a principal thing, and because there's so many games out there that I want to do sort of a format with, I wouldn't be able to, like, I wouldn't really do that, right? Just because even like with permadeath runs that I fail, like, oh, I could come back to one after 6 months, but that doesn't mean I actually do. Like Danganronpa, I said I was going to do that, and that was like a year and a half ago, right? May of like 2022. So yes, the door, or like even LA Noire I wanted to come back to, that was like a heartbreaking one, but it doesn't mean I'm actually going to anytime soon. So, but you could make it way harsher, like, oh, first play through permadeath, and if you die, then you could never play the game again for the rest of your life. Or at least you concede that you failed it, and then you could just play it normally. But I put like that 6 month to a year cooldown where I can't play it again until then. And then even when you do, you have to obviously restart from the beginning. So you could end up, that's what's hilarious about it, it could technically still be a first playthrough, but you've died 10 times. The first time you got like 3/4 of the way in, then you got only halfway in, then you died, so you keep doing it over and over until you finally get it, and still keep calling it and billing it as a permadeath run, first playthrough permadeath. But obviously, you know, you keep making little bits of progress each time, and you have to keep doing the same parts over and over, which would be very irritating. You know, especially with some games that almost seems like it might happen. The idea that you would be able to, you know, in like a detective game, Phoenix Wright, like, oh, I got that question wrong 40 times, and then I come back again and just shotgun everything, all the evidence to try to see what's right, and then you get it right, and then, you know, you keep doing trial and error, but that would be awfully costly to do. When the shield is gone, which again, it's shocking that it goes so quickly, but I guess it's the idea that basically, what? This is what you get for actually flanking, I guess. Getting flanked by a healer or something. I can't even see what's happening. Yeah, I should have actually read through the right click again, because I don't really fully understand how that's working, but it seems like it kind of sucks them in or something. It's always hard to do it now when like half the people are dead and everything. You never use the F and that at like the same time, because what ends up happening is you basically have a position where you're able... Man, at least I killed the Khan somehow. It's like he put his shield up after he was already dead, because I like saw the shield animation. Fuck, that was really satisfying that we took him out there. Fuck. This should be me at my best in this game, because it's as high stakes as ever gonna get. You can kill this stupid bot clown guy. Why is he so tanky? Or he does have that heal capability all the time. Cassie's playing really aggressive too, and you want to punish it, but it was okay if we just stop this from happening a little bit. Like, don't let them get the second point. And we did kind of okay at the beginning, but it didn't... I keep having that OCD instinct to try to reload and tab R, but I think we can bring it all the way back and get a point that way. I don't think we've ever seen that happen, if you can do that, but... Okay, leave them the way they are. Put the shield down, just relax a little bit. This Cassie is so hyper aggressive, dude. He just runs right into you. You're supposed to be using a bow, dude. Meanwhile, I'm using fists from a distance anyway, so what does it matter? Come on. How you not hitting? Wait, what? I guess they're just out of the range of what I have there? But come on, there's no way you should get pushed back too far here. I have the ult up too, and you should definitely use it to survive this, or you should use it at the beginning of the next thing to try to... Oh shit, here we go. Come on, I use my ult on everybody. Like, nobody feels like they're really doing anything much here. Maybe I'm not using my shield super efficiently either, but... Fucking Farrah Clown wannabe. Somebody else used their ult. Just keep it alive. 18 seconds and we're in a beautiful spot. So what ends up happening is we have the ability to basically... you know, equalize the points here, which is almost too forgiving that it lets you... Look at Cassie, bro. Why is Cassie playing even like a dumber clown than me? Like with the whole going fucking face roll. Plays more aggressive as a DPS than I do as a tank. Some of these people almost do feel like they're playing as bots. I really gotta read that other fucking thing again. The Q, or not the Q, the right click. I just keep doing it just whenever it's up, which is often the principle. Like, always forget about the fact that this character doesn't have to reload. Those are the two staples of what you should do in this game that maybe make you look better than even what you are. It's like a button mash type of thing in a fighting game. Use every ability that's up whenever it's up. Just do it. Don't wait. Don't try to use it at the perfect time, because the cooldowns are so short on so many things that you'll still get good value out of it. So it's like, just use everything when it's up, whenever it's up. And also always shoot whenever you... Just all the time. Hold down the shoot button the whole game. These are the two rules of this genre of game. All abilities whenever they're up all the time with no thought or consideration. And always be shooting. Because even if you miss, so what? You have infinite ammo. So can we get off to a little better start here would be the big question. And the answer is probably not, but... Just need like a little bit of support here, but he did a great job with that throw. And oh wow, wasted ult, but I guess is the right time to try to use it. I just don't know what's happening. Like, what is our team comp? We have a healer, we have a... Don't we have two healers? The Ratchet and Clank dude and the IO chick. I don't know why this feels so lopsided. I should be using my shield maybe a bit more, but... Fuck. Okay, whatever. As long as we keep equalizing, then we have to win at least one of the things in the first round, which is seemingly very hard to do here. I feel like we're just getting off to such a bad start every time that we can't do anything. And like, if I gotten that ult off, maybe it would have done something, but I don't know. This guy keeps getting that throw so fucking easily. Maybe I'm even going a little too aggressive there, but I don't know what to do. Like, we almost feel like we're very damage starved, where we have 2 healers, but we also don't feel like we're staying alive that well, so I don't know what's happening. I put that too far away. But we should almost be trying to march out to that point. Yeah, if you have 2 healers, you should feel a little bit safer when you're the only tank too, but somehow it's just not happening. Okay, somehow he just let me do that. If you just keep me alive, we'll be fine, dude. I was the highest damage dealer in the last game. Put the Q down, just relax, let the thing keep going. 1 minute 16 is still a long time, but they have a lot of ground to cover here, clearly. Always do the F when you're waiting for the shield. Use the shield when you're waiting for the F. That's a good ult. I don't know what else to say. We'll still be 2-2 if we stop this, but I don't know if I can stop it. Just, oh, no. Fuck. Can we overcome a 3-1 deficit like we're the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers or something? Or the fucking Nuggets that one year where they in the bubble, right? Where they did it 2 series in a row. So when they're down 3-1 to they do it on like the Jazz, and then they do it on the Clippers. So when they're down 3-1 to the Lakers, it's like haha, exactly as planned. So now we have the ult going into this. Could this be the end, dude? It'd be so clutch if we overcome a 3-1, or we should have made it somehow where we overcome a 3-0. But I don't feel like I'm playing that badly. This is what I hate, but I guess you can't say that. Our team is the only way you can judge it. It's just like we have 2 healers, so I don't get what they're doing. How am I dying this easily? They're just doing whatever they want. Like, they're going ahead of me. I think it's maybe my fault. However, that angle worked. Was good. Double kill. Okay, so I mean, at least I did sort of my part. I got an ult. I killed 2 of them, but somehow they're playing so aggressively. It's like a fucking, the healers are playing like DPS. I don't know. What does Omen do? Oh, Omen just died. Okay, can we hold it down? That was at least a decent ult. The last time I couldn't get the ult to actually land, that was the thing. So this point is ours, and then it's just a question of can we actually stop them from doing something in the context of how is he like a god at landing that? Like, what I played against cons before, and they never do that to me that much. I don't get it. That fire on the ground seems to do either an insane amount of damage, or it just always corresponds where you're getting sort of rushed down. So we would have to get like an extra point here, which seems virtually impossible against this team. But the good thing is they can't win by doing this defense point, basically. Like, what? They can't win by simply stopping us from getting the second point here. Right? Normally you get a point, but if it's the final one, it doesn't work. Okay, sometimes I just gotta put down the shield. I get too distracted by trying to kill somebody, or like again, it's the bad habit of trying to save it for later, which just never actually happens. Okay. Look how we got the point, but then we get ragdolled the whole rest of the way. So you know what you should try to do is just save up your ult again, 81%. Save up your ult for the beginning of the next thing and just do it and see if you can maybe win that way, which I don't know if that's actually going to be the case or not. That's how you know you don't have confidence in your healers, when you do the F and the Q together. But like, look how we're basically not even trying, dude. Everybody, that's what I would say too, like in chat. Everybody save your ults and use them at the beginning of next round, because this doesn't matter, right? We're just sort of padding at this point in a way that is whatever. But definitely don't use your ult now, because it doesn't serve any purpose. If I'm not, as long as I'm not mistaken about this one, where doesn't this just show you your team is sort of outclassed though? Even if it's a 4v5, look how we made 0 progress on this one. they would make like backwards progress and win that way if it was possible to do that. Maybe I'm overestimating sometimes the range of how far this is actually going, but there's no point in doing anything here, so just don't even worry about it. Sometimes I just like doing that, just go super aggressive, but I don't know why from such a distance you would even want to do that. Okay, so we got to go in such a way that... What is the overtime? Like, what are you talking about, overtime? How? Overtime for what? We obviously didn't make any progress, so we shouldn't lose. Right? Or did they push so far back that we actually would lose like that? I don't even understand this. Are they actually going to win on this? If they were, then I would have... Wait. No, but push failed is fine because we don't lose the thing. We don't lose. Yeah, I get a double kill there. Now you got to use all your ults together at the beginning. And to whatever extent I did that last time, it did kind of work. It would be hilarious if we keep getting the first point and they keep getting the second one. But now the second one doesn't matter. We would only have to do it twice here. 49.58. I love all these random values that come about. Yeah, this is the kind of game, like, if you compare it directly to Overwatch 2 or whatever to Overwatch, it's obviously not as original as that, to whatever extent you'd say that copy TF2 and stuff, but as a raw experience of playing it, I mean, it's at least good, like, if you're sick of Overwatch to do it that way. But fuck. I died a little bit too quickly that time, but at least I did get the ult off, so I don't know what more you want me to do. I used the F2, so I don't really get it. I think we are probably going to lose here, but I saw somebody at like 1 HP, but... Or 3 of them apparently just died. What the fuck was that sound? Or no, they were able to at least capitalize on that. We found the ultimate strategy now, literally, by using our ult every time at the beginning, which is always a principle that I tend to follow, but look how quickly that guy dropped. You're not getting shit on us, dude, but you gotta keep us alive for a second here. Cassie playing super aggressive as usual. Fucking spam, button mash, do whatever you gotta do. Let's try to put them out of their misery here with respect to pushing the second thing, but I don't know if we'll be able to do that. We're pretty much getting carried by the ults at the beginning here a bit. Ooh, look how quickly they're dropping. Do this. I would love to push for the second point, but that seems unlikely against a team that is so... really been dominating us so much. And don't get distracted and get caught off the beaten path. Let's just stay on the thing. What are you guys doing? Oh shit, now they're behind us too and everything. Now they're forced me to put this in a weird spot that you don't want it to be in. Okay, so we, again, save the ult going into the next round, and that has so far been good. I highly doubt... This is always the decision you got to make, right? Would you want to use the ult now to try to push for the fourth point when you have nothing to lose, or would you rather do it at the beginning? The beginning has worked out pretty well so far, so I guess I don't mind that too much. It's just a case of... you know, you have nothing to lose here, but you have everything to gain at the beginning of the next round. How are you not, like, doing anything more to her? Like, just fuck it, dude. We are pushing this, and again, this is just like playing with house money. You don't even have to worry about it because you can just kind of dick around. I'm going to be tempted to use it, but I'll make a hard rule. I am not going to use it because I feel more confident at the beginning of the next round that you'd be able to do it that way. I just don't think we're going to be able to. Like, we're still a ways away. We got a lot of shit to do. Yeah, let them get their second win here. You're playing for nothing, dude. You get jack shit for doing this. And if you just save the ult... Is that what they're doing too? They're saving their ults for the beginning of the next round? Because why wouldn't they use them otherwise? They'd be as flippant clowns as me to do that. Okay, there. It's amazing what a night and day difference there is. At least here we push the payload a little bit, but just save what you got. All 5 of us should have ults just going into the next thing, but some of these people are clowns, and they're not going to actually. We just kill Buck in principle, dude, because I don't like him. Yeah, whatever. We pushed it a decent amount there. Fucking kill that guy anyway. Or did he really waste something there? Or was that almost looked like an ult? Push failed, but it doesn't matter. Rewarding us for failure somehow. So now everybody use our ult together. Quadruple ult, penta ult, or whatever. But the whole beauty of that is the fact that they could have it too. Right? They're on a couple kill streaks and whatnot. It'll be a 3-1 deficit. I don't know if that would be the first one. So we go in, we do the shield, we do the thing, we do the F, we do the E, just do everything. And even the last time I didn't survive, after doing it, I was able to, they were still able to take the point at that point. This, there is no escape from this one, because it's not like, oh, you know, whatever. We made the executive decision not to use the ult there to try to get the 4th point. Come on, keep me alive, keep me alive, keep me alive. Okay, now we have to rely on them. The ult did go off. This guy's almost dead. He did die. So the tank died, somebody else died. So at least we equalize for something. But why? Look at these 3 fucking moron clowns who I have no respect for in this game. 3 of them died with no ult used. Like, what are you saving the ult for, dude? What are you saving it for, bro? Look how I sidestepped that shit, but I'm still gonna die. I don't understand, man. 3 of them, these are bots. Either we're playing against bots or we're playing for bots, or at least they're there still, but like, they go into that round and they don't use their ult. They're like me when they're so unaware that they even have it up. Wow. Wow, dude. Look at even that sad music coming on. That makes no fucking sense, dude. Why wouldn't they use the ult? I would just love to hear the analysis. Oh yeah, we're saving it for the next round in the afterlife over here. Are they really that stupid? We did one. Look at how this is like my best performing character maybe ever. 11,000 damage, 10, 22, 32. But I mean, compared to them, I don't know how to judge that. But yeah, 111, 122. They just look kind of jacked out. Maybe you could say it's a function of the character, but whatever. Evidently, based on those stats, you can't at least even say that I did that badly, right? Like, I at least fought for my life. So what did I win? I won like 2 in a row, I guess? Or was it... Yeah, where I won last time and won this time, and then we lost this one? I guess that's it. And now there really is nothing else to do in this game, even for whatever padding purpose I was trying to do. So I guess I could just decide now... maybe we should do like a little just chatting portion here just to decide what I would want to play. That could have been a good line to use, or I could use it as a title for that episode. At least we went down swinging, both in the sense that I played well and, you know, played maybe some of my best games statistically and this and that, to go down swinging in terms of the run, but also literally because of the character. She goes down swinging with her fists. Good one. But basically, we could decide, okay, Season of Discovery would be a thing that you could do. I love that. Trending searches, Oscar Mayer, Wienermobile drivers. This is the moment in my life where I'm doing my first ever React stream, or a moment like where I'm doing something that isn't just playing a game. And this is what I get as my first #1 top suggestion. This is what I should react to if I was Asmongold or somebody. This is what these fucking people do, apparently, a lot of the time. You see that more than anything. Like, I get all these suggested things of Asmongold reacts to this or reacts to that. Like, does he fucking play games anymore? Probably, because he streams probably all day every day because he has that luxury. But still, you spend more time like reacting to stuff than actually playing stuff. That's the whole beauty or the philosophy of what I had sometimes, was like, you know, you would basically you could react to stuff while playing a game, not like in the background. What I mean is, like, you're talking about different topics and different things. Why is this showing up here? If Huh? Is that, or that's because I have it installed, but I don't remember ever seeing it there. Okay, so let's decide. Games like League of Legends or games like Overwatch, just either one is a good fit. Apex Legends, but I don't think Apex has any semblance of, I've played it before, so you'd think I should know a little better, but it doesn't have, it's even lumped in there with that, it doesn't have hero classes in the same ways, right? It's more just, yeah, it's more like a battle royale type of thing. So I don't think that really fits as well. You could maybe make a format out of it too, but it doesn't make me think. Yeah, they're putting it here. Brink, I've heard a little bit about, but I don't think I've ever played it. Dota 2 is not really something I want to do. Hero, maybe I should do Hero of the Storm just as a meme, but no, Smite is a good game. I played a little bit of it. I love the fact that I don't even like that it says that more to the casual gamer, less of a learning. It's not even about the learning curve. It's like, it's the itemization of League that's so stupid. Like, people don't understand sometimes what's wrong with League. It's not the game itself, right? I'm certainly not one of these contrarian haters who hates it, just because it's popular, right? I actually kind of liked it originally and everything like that. But, I used to love Kale back in the day, and then they ruined her because they turned her from the polar opposite. She was like an early game aggressive champion to now they turn her into, I would play her hyper aggressive and stuff like that. Now they turn her into a control type of character. So it was funny actually when I came back to playing the game many years back. It's like people are acting like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you? This Kale's the worst ever." But it's because I was playing her the same way. I didn't know that they completely ruined her and did a 180. And you might defend that and say, "Well, maybe she was broken before, or maybe they needed another control character." But they have literally 100 plus at that point probably, and now they have like 200 plus characters. The answer isn't to take one that works one way and turn it into something else, right? Like, take a tank character, whatever, and turn it into a damage. Take an aggro character and turn it into like a control late game. I'm using like card game terms, but like a control type of character for the late game. Like, why do you need to do a 180? Keep her the way she is, even if you want to adjust her or nerf her or something, fine, but keep her as an early game aggro type of character that she was. Or at least maybe I was just playing her wrong, but at least it was more geared towards that. It was not meant to be a late game kind of character, what she is now. So there's my obligatory rant on Kale. That's almost how I started the Paladin series. I started the first episode of Paladins in that Gauntlet talking about... here, let me actually change it to just chatting. I don't even have to change my title because that's what it was anyway, just deciding what to play next. But basically, it's the fact that... what do you call it? Yeah, the first episode I kind of just ranted about Kale and talked about all things to do with League. So I'm not going to do League, but no, what I like about this is the same issue I have like with Diablo style games, where it's like this bird's eye view overhead, like you're playing an RTS game, but where you control a unit. So in the same context, like how I like, a game like Skyrim or Dark Souls over games like Diablo and Path of Exile, just from the perspective, it's much more immersive. You can play it in first person, you can play it in third person, but it's like over the shoulder. It's not this bird's eye RTS view where it feels so immersion breaking and separated from your character in those kind of games. So it's the same thing here. Rather than play League because of that same bird's eye view perspective that I dislike so much, you could play a game like Smite that has the same core features of the game and the same style, but where you're able to not necessarily get bogged down by that camera perspective. That's just my personal preference, but there are some objective flaws with it that I pointed out that have never been rebutted by anybody. But it might have to be Smite, which, yeah, I love that it says that immediately too. Like, I've become a casual gamer. Don't you see my Friday format where I play a fucking mobile clicker game like a fucking PvZ for soccer moms, and then obviously PvZ Heroes also for soccer moms, I guess, to play on their phones. 15 games to play if you love League of Legends. Or what if you hate it and you want an alternative to it? That could be a reasoning for it too. Strongest level 1. But no, it's the itemization and all that kind of meta stuff that I was talking about that I don't like, in the sense that it gets so bogged down and contrived, right? Like, you could have been the best League of Legends player in the world in 2009, 2011, but that would mean nothing now because it's nothing to do with the innate skills that way. It's to do with, you got to learn the current meta. It was kind of like chess, right? you could be fucking Paul Morphy risen from the grave, but it wouldn't matter because yes, there's certain innate skills that do come out and reaction times and things like that in League or whatever. Like in chess, there's certain calculation skills, and I get that. But so much of it comes down to just learning the modern metrics and the modern analytics, or in the case of League, like the current state of the game, the items, the meta. So it's so specific to that, even the new champions that wouldn't have existed before. With chess, it's kind of funny to say that because the game of chess itself hasn't changed that much, but the understanding of it and the obviously the analytics and the engines and the metrics and everything, opening theory has evolved so much. Like, you just have to learn what is out there more than anything innate. So that's why the shop is so shitty, because it's like, okay, some guy comes home from work and he just wants to play the game and just play it, right? So he still wants to win, and it's not like he's throwing on purpose, but he also just wants to do it in a more raw sense, like I often talk about. So they're not trying to learn all, they don't want to learn the shop, they don't care what the best items are, they're just doing whatever they're doing. But so many people take it so seriously. It's like same thing you could say in a card game, like, oh, everybody wants to use the best deck all the time, but I deliberately will go out of my way not to do that because I don't care. Like, I just want to use something that's fun, interesting. So within the context of then using something that's fun, then I still do try to play my best and try to win, but those are two separate things. Right, so it's like in chess, you're not going in with the best opening, but whatever opening you do use, you try to win with it. So you're not metagaming from the outset. So again, the shop system is just stupid. That's one thing I actually really like about Overwatch, is that it doesn't have a shop. And so obviously in Paladins it did. So that's one thing I didn't like about it comparatively. But pretty much everything else was fun. The champion design, everything was good. So if the original Overwatch gets like a 9.5 out of 10, this gets like maybe an 8, 8.5. Compares very well, lacks originality in some ways. How dare you put fucking Maeve Clown as the title fucking character, though? I don't know what it is about her, but she just triggers me in the way that few gaming characters ever have. Like Rose from PvZ, the whole universe. Replacement for League, gaming suggestions. Let's see. I quit League. This is 2 years ago. It doesn't need to be mobile, but preferably free to play. I recommend trying Rogue. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything, dude? What does Hades have to do with anything in this conversation? Like, it might be a good game, but it has absolutely nothing in common. Okay, team fight tactics, League with less stress, League with less gameplay, more like it, dude. Overwatch 2, I mean, similar lore. I guess lore drops with the newer characters and stuff. Oh shit, maybe I should do that. That could be a more same game new form, but it's not really the same game at all. I played it a little bit on my phone, my gaming phone that I got almost just as a joke. Paragon the Overprime combines MOBAs with FPS. I don't know what this even is, but I probably won't do it. As long as it would have like character classes mixed. Yeah, let's actually see, what are the Paladins reviews on Steam. I think they'd probably be pretty positive. I think this community is, not that I, have experienced too much with it in the course of playing this game. Wait, why is it saying $192? What was that? That could be like all the things combined, but that makes it look kind of bad. I got to pay $192.92, arbitrary number, very high for a free game. It shouldn't say that on the Google page. Want to participate in public test? Wait, what do you mean, dude? Or whatever. That would be for the next expansion. Yeah, people do kind of love this game for what it is, and it's either people who hate Overwatch, who have migrated from it, or people who are just bored of it, sick of it, had their fill of it, just want something a little different. Maybe it's people who've never heard of Overwatch, never played Overwatch. There could be a lot of different reasons. Real Overwatch 2, or yeah, in that sense, that's what it could be. The original Overwatch is a masterpiece and it's a great game, regardless of what anybody says. But Overwatch 2 is basically just a glorified update, so why not just move over to this? Overwatch, if it were good. There's a lot of this contrarian hate of stuff, that people hate stuff just to hate it, right? Like, I won't even say that with League. And in fact, originally, that's almost what I wanted to start this format with, or at least I wanted to do it after Overwatch. I guess I did Overwatch 2 because like it was new, it had just come out sort of recently to that when I started doing this format again. So I said I may as well do that, and then it's kind of a good way to get into it. And then I was so dejected by how badly that went. Like I didn't go on too many good streaks, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll take a break and I'll do PvZ as a permadeath gauntlet, PvZ heroes. But then I decided, oh, it's not suited for that as well. So then I ditched that, and then I said, okay, I'll do another game that's kind of like Overwatch to try to redeem it, which didn't go very well in Paladins. And then I was like, okay, maybe now, or I was thinking I would do League after Overwatch 2 if it went better. So now I'd be thinking, okay, I should do League now, but I keep putting it off because it's too much. Like it's too overwhelming. Or it's like the old entry is consent thing that I talked about. Like where just because somebody comes home from work and they play League, it doesn't mean that they define their whole ego and life value and worth as a human being from how good they are at League of Legends, the way that a lot of people maybe do. Or like chess, the way that people look at it becomes very egotistical. The idea that some people are playing it just to play it. Now, that's not an excuse for them being bad still, but it's an excuse for them not knowing the meta, and those are kind of two different things, right? Like, okay, you play chess like me, you have fun with it, but it doesn't mean you've studied it, doesn't mean you care about theory and all that. You come home from work, you just want to play a couple games, so what? You know what I mean? It's the same thing with League. Entry is consent, meaning that, like, basically, because you simply play the game, it means you must be trying to be a high rank, or it means you must be trying to be an esports player. Not everybody is as deluded to think that, oh, I want to be the next faker or something. So that's what I don't like, is that, oh, it was, you know what, it was almost like in WoW, where people talked about, you know, like Asmongold or whatever, these sort of fake elitists, with all due respect, they would talk about like, oh, haha, this guy's gear score is low, or he doesn't even have this such and such thing, even though Asmongold himself never did like a world first raid clear or whatever like that. And you could say the same thing, oh, I've never done it either, but that's the standard that I'm holding. So it's like, you're a fake elitist in the sense that you're holding somebody to a high standard that you've never lived up to even yourself, or like a sort of a half-ass standard. You're not really the best in the world, but you're just kind of, oh, I'm slightly less mediocre than you. Like I'm a 2000 FIDE chess player, so I'm better than Alex Botez, but neither of us are, you know, let's say hypothetically. It doesn't matter. You're not Hikaru, you're not Magnus, you're not a Grandmaster, Benjamin Feingold. Like at least you have to hold high standards in these things. So the point being, with entry is consent, as my old little, it's like a whole thought experiment, or like a phrase that I would use a lot, that in King of the Sandcastle means exactly what I just said. Like you're picking on, it's not hard to be top 10% or 5% in the world at chess, because you're just picking on a lot of bottom feeders. So it's not hard to be the best at an uncompetitive game or in an uncompetitive space, like, you know, some dead game that only has a few players, or things like that, right? So it's easy to be the best in that, like in Guncraft or whatever, or like even on lit chess. It's not hard to be, you know, a little higher rated on the chess just because it's inflated and it's not as competitive and things like that. You deliberately slice out and pick out the least competitive thing to do, and then try to be the best at it and feel sort of inflated in your ego. And then the entry is consent thing is just to say that, again, just because you simply play chess, it doesn't mean that you're trying to be a grandmaster or make a career out of it. You're just simply playing it. And there's a lot of assumptions and egotistical people who assume that, right? Now, maybe you are trying to do that, but again, they're sort of projecting a lot on you that, oh, because they've spent years studying it and because it's a career path for some people, that doesn't mean that you're treating it like that. And it doesn't mean that you couldn't even do that if you wanted to, but it might be different. For you, chess is just a game. For them, it's a career. So it's two complete, like that would be like comparing your job to them. Like the chess player gets up from their 2000 FIDE rating to go cook some food, and then you criticize them like, oh, I'm Monica from Friends, I work at a restaurant, I'm a cook, so therefore how could you cook that meal so improperly? And so it's like, never mind the fact that she's OCD too, that's why she would really say it, even if she wasn't a cook. But the point is, oh, how could you not cook that in the professional way that I do at work? The same way that, oh, how could you not play chess the professional way I do, you know, in over-the-board tournaments? It's like, for you, you're just making a meal, you're just eating food, but for them, it's their job. So it's the same thing. For you, it's your job or your career or your major passion. For them, it's just a game that they're coming home from work and playing. So it's the same thing with League of Legends. Interesting comparison that you would compare chess and League. And so basically, if I'm going to do a just chatting portion, you damn right better bet this is what it's going to be like. But basically, with League, it's the same thing to say that not everybody is playing it for that purpose or whatever, and it's like this sort of, again, fake elitism, like, oh, haha, you're not even ranked, or you're not a high enough rank. It's like you have to first assume that you care, and if you care, then you have to hold yourself to only the highest standard. Like, oh, are you faker? Are you an esports player? If you're not, then you're a nobody. So I love this sort of bottom feeder discussion. Like, people will be talking shit in unranked. So either, haha, look how much better I am than you, whether it be to the other team or whether to your own teammates, and it makes you think like, maybe you are better, but it's such a low standard, right? It's like the low hanging fruit that you like. I'm playing Path of Exile for the first time, and people are talking shit in the comments. It's like, you may be even right? Forget about the fact that, oh, you're not using the fact that you're playing it for the first time as an excuse. Like, okay, let's say you legitimately are bad at it, but so what? So in other words, that you're better than somebody who's playing the game for the first time, or even if you want to hypothesize and say you were better. This is how I would talk, like when I would go through my long form postulate. Like, you go through every rebuttal and every possible, it's hard to explain, like associative process. Like, you were better in your first time playing the game than I was in my first time playing the game. So like, you should put that on your headstone when you die, that like you were that proud. I was better than some random dude playing a game for the first time than they were. Even if that was true, which you probably don't have video to back it up, and these people are just hindsight bias clowns, right? Not even backed up by any provable thing. But even if you were, so what? That's like the weirdest flex ever. I was better in my first playthrough of a game than you were, and so that proves something. And so in League and stuff like that, it's the same thing. Like, oh, haha, aren't you? Why is this on LinkedIn? Felix, this isn't fucking what? Does this have to do with anything? Why is this on LinkedIn? How did Brink? Okay, I didn't know LinkedIn was meant to be for stuff like that, just random articles. But no, it's like, you enter into League and you're just playing it just to play it. So you should almost just turn chat off. So yeah, people are trying to flex in a weird way, like, haha, I'm better than you, you suck. But we all suck because we're playing it unranked. So you shouldn't be playing with somebody as bad as me or the average person if you are good. Right, so if you're actually good, you would be playing with other good players. So even higher standards, like Tyler One is a good player of League, right? He's had some good track record, whatever, maybe brief esports play. I don't know his whole history, but he's generally considered at least a decent, good League player. But then there's a lot of excuses that you would hear him make on stream and stuff, like, oh, these people are so bad. But like, if they're so bad, then the only reason why you're playing with them is because you're so bad, right? If you're at a high rank, you should be playing against similarly ranked people or with similarly ranked people. So if you're so good, then why can't you either carry them, or why aren't you a higher rank that you're playing with better matched people? Or, you know what, if you're that anal about it, then you should have a pre-made group of people. But I don't know how that works as far as matchmaking, or how much they allow that or whatever. Or then you only go against other predetermined comps and stuff. But yeah, especially for a streamer, you have that privilege that even if you don't always know people personally that you can play with, you could literally use your clout to say, oh, I want some viewer who's like a master rank player to carry me or something. So let's see. Valorant didn't even come to mind. I'm not going to do that here. I should do either Smite or League. That's what I'm kind of estimating that I should do. Kind of sad when my longest stream in a long time is going to be like me doing this. I can't remember what my most recent long one was, but lock and load of Minecraft and Overwatch. Yeah, it's called Guncraft, dude. That game's still around. This was King of the Sandcastle. I was the best in this game because nobody played it, or it was a bunch of little random kids, or it was the fact that, people even accuse me of cheating. It's like, this is like just click on their head to the extreme, even less recoil than Overwatch. The fact that it was like, imagine it still being $15. It was just a fun thing. Like, you just kind of run around and do whatever, but it gives you that little ego boost that you could indie game of the year. But this was a long ass time ago. I played it for hundreds of hours back when it was on Desora. This game had potential, awful, poor execution. But yeah, this game almost deserves a certain credit because it came out in 2013. So how many games were there like this where you could build stuff in the middle of combat and stuff like that? Like Fortnite copied this game. I heard about some game like Ace of Spades that was somehow 3 extra copies for your friends. What kind of fucking random thing is that? But no, I legitimately like this game. And it was kind of unique at the time. Again, I don't know how many games like you could, you know, do kill streak shit, summon helicopters, like whatever. It just combined so many different genres. There was this thing where the floor is lava type of mini game where whatever, you keep trying to get higher and higher and escape. So just being able to build during combat and things like that. So it was good, but I mean it's old, so this might be a better version of the same thing. Paladins is good. Rainbow Six does have some element of character classes, but I don't really feel like that. Is one great class-based first person. You don't have to fucking like advertise for it like you say it's great. Just say what it is. First-person shooter game that has some similarities to Overwatch. There must be a million games like this, so that's why at least Paladins I give a certain. Team Fortress 2 we at least opened the door for. I don't know if Warframe actually has classes that way. I don't actually know what it is. I would have to do this on a Saturday format just to... I've probably played it before too briefly, but I don't remember. One first-person shooter game. Why are they saying it like that? Is one great? This one's biased. It's saying Battleborn is not great. It's just one. That focuses on team play and teamwork just like Overwatch. Really? Is that... You know what I'll say though is Paladins didn't seem toxic at all because the chat was always on, but nobody ever would talk shit. So that shows you right there the community is just different. It could be because oh you're playing an unranked, but even try to play an unranked in League and you'll get shat on like, and oftentimes even undeservingly because whatever. Like if you play well, then you blame. If you play well and lose, then you blame everybody else. If you play badly and win, they'll still blame you and talk shit about you or whatever. Everybody will blame you, so it's just kind of irritating. So just like community-wise, though Paladins seem pretty good, Overwatch seemed pretty good. Just judging it from whatever brief experience you could see there, and like even Paladins seem to try to cut down on toxicity to some extent with respect to the ability of they don't show the stats like very clearly or in detail during the course of the game, and the reason why is because you know then you can't talk too much shit because you don't even know what's happening, like or how well or how badly people are doing. So many articles like this. One of these is going to give me a name a better Overwatch alternative. You think Blizzard should really allow this on their... I'll provide a list below. Paladins, Fortnite, X Defiant. I don't even know what that is. Apex Legends, Call of Claymore, Modern. What the fuck is this, dude? You guys like trolling. The complaints about Overwatch aren't invalid just because there's a better game out there, or just because there isn't a better game out there. What is this? Bot for? Oh, he's just making fun of it. What is botting in TF2? A bot is... There are two types of bots, AI bots and puppet bots. AI bots are coded with sophisticated artificial intelligence. I didn't know this was such a big problem actually in the game, but... Oh shit, I got totally baited by him. I'm saying he's trolling, but I'm taking these as literal things. Like, oh, these are just some stupid names for games that sound like a joke. Good one. X Defiant is a free-to-play first-person shooter. Compete to be the best in fast-paced online matches. I don't know what the fuck this is. When did it come out? 2023. PS4, PS5. So it must have been out long enough to at least be on PS4. Worlds Collide. Choose your faction. Compete for glory. Good old Ubisoft. They even made the Avatar game that I just played. Paladins, Champions of the Realm. Inaccurate. Cassie would be even closer because she's such an overly aggressive clown based on the last one that we played. I guess we could do that. As if we're not playing enough PvZ games already. Fucking Battle for Neighborville or whatever. Garden Warfare 2 and stuff. Yeah, I always start, even when I play some of these games for the first time on Saturday just to try them, I kind of started in that Permadeath Gauntlet format, so I'd have to continue from how I did that there. I don't remember this one. Is the furthest thing from Overwatch. This is more Battle Royale. Yeah, it's not even like that. I don't know if this has like class type characters either. Splatoon. I've never played any of this Splatoon, thanks, right? Destiny is not at all. I mean, that would be suited for a different kind of format, like Thursday, where I do my, like I was doing hardcore classic, or I'm doing ARC now. PlanetSide is actually pretty awesome, where it's like this huge scale battle, and it just kind of never ends, and you feel like you're playing a role in like a. I feel like they were about to announce the PlanetSide 3, but again, this still wouldn't be suited for this format. But it was a really good game. Maybe I should do that on a Saturday thing. PlanetSide and Entropia. Those are two that I would want to do. PlanetSide. Here, I'll just like put it in a notepad or something later. Those could be like my next two Saturday formats, where I just either I play something I've never played before, or something about to go offline, or something like that, or just something I haven't played in a super long time, I guess is what I've sort of adjusted it to. So like GTA 5 I just did online, and Battlefront 2. These are games that I've obviously played before, but what is that random green line there? Squad is far from a mindless shooter. You're thrown on the battlefield. You push your squad to victory as you contend with tons of opponents each. This just kind of looks interesting. Low graphical fidelity, but still interesting. Guns of the Boom. Over on the mobile side. Okay, skip. Modern Combat Versus. Why does this look so familiar? Didn't I just play this or something, but it wasn't called that? This UI looks like it's stolen from something. I swear I just saw this exact same UI in a different game that I just played, like Naraka Blade Point or something. I don't know. Valorant. Again, the problem with that is it feels too much like it's identity confused, or it's trying to mishmash two things together. It's like Counter-Strike plus Overwatch. That's the simplest way to explain it, where it just tries to have that sort of tight recoil-based shooting, whatever, skill-based shooting, if you want to call it that, and combine it with some abilities. But I always felt like the abilities took the back burner and weren't that fun or interesting or dynamic. That's what these games do a much better job of. Paladins, the abilities take the forefront, or even the guns that you're using are abilities. That's the whole fun of it. Like I'm literally punching them with my fist or whatever, like on Nyx there. Although the fact that they're at a range is a little bit less cool. So I'm not going to do that right now. Spawn actually looks kind of cool, but it's $50. What the fuck? Does that mean it doesn't have microtransactions, or does it just have them on top of that? Because that's how things normally are. Yeah, none of these are giving me anything that's standing out. Some of these really just don't make sense. Unreal Tournament. Would this be like actually online playable though, is the thing? Either Unreal Tournament or Quake would be the two that maybe could be predecessors to some of these. You'd have to look on like Steam charts to see actually how many, how active it really is. Or it'll be like a group of dedicated people who know what the fuck. Yeah, speaking of games that you should have played before they playable, but how? It's not playable at all. I bought it. Now it seems like they're not on Steam anymore. I can't even play them despite the fact that I bought them. What the hell? It would be a group of very dedicated people. I think I said that about Team Fortress Classic that I did play there on that format. Like, only people who play the game are super dedicated, hardcore people who've been playing the game for a super long time and know all the ins and outs and secrets and bunny hat meta and all this kind of stuff. They won't necessarily be random riffraff like me just coming in, or even if they do, they come and go fast, not because it's even bad, but just because they're playing it just to try it, like I was. Not that it's the only thing they're gonna do. I've never played a Halo game in any form, so I wouldn't just do that randomly. Heroes of the Storm I have played, but there's something weird with that, like where there's like this casualized sense of progress, like where all the progress is shared between your team. That was maybe the big mistake of design there, that you don't feel like you're making your own progress. It almost reminds me of something that people said about Mario Party, but some of the newer Mario Party games, where they took it from everybody moves separately to everybody's in like a cart where they're all moving together to try to mitigate the RNG of it. So you all kind of roll together and move together, which defeats the whole purpose of the fucking game. So you don't feel like you're making your own individual progress. So even though people might complain about the RNG of it, with this could be cool. Like you each have different mechs or something, or you use that as sort of the permanent condition. I don't know why Apex is appearing on all these. Like, doesn't have that much in common, really. 17 games that will drastically improve your aim. What is that one on the left? Who is that chick? Seems familiar somehow. Quake. I maybe should do something with Quake, but I don't know what the background of it is. Like, if it really has heroes in the same way that it's maybe Breachers. What? See, some of these games I've just never heard of. Never in my life have I heard of this game. Is it super new, or is it just something? It's a VR game. Fortnite. The only VR game I want to play is like chess, because it's actually like simulating playing somebody over the board. Escape from Tarkov I didn't really get. I didn't really understand the whole hype around it. It's been out apparently a lot longer than I thought, but Overwatch 3. Yeah, you really think Overwatch? Just click on their head. It's not going to improve your fucking aim. Not that that's really what I'm looking for, but Osu, Aim Lab, Valorant. Shouldn't it be Counter-Strike? Yeah, I was going to say. Quake Champions. Yeah, see, I don't know what Quake really is. Let me read some background on it. I just know that, like, the infamous Quake jump or whatever that people always refer to. Like I don't know what it is, but it was released, blah, blah, blah. In the game, players must find their way through various maze-like medieval environments while battling monsters using an array of weaponry. But what about the PvP multiplayer element of it? Yeah, here. Multiplayer mode, players on several computers connect to a server. Yeah, you're explaining what a server is in 2024, where they either play a single-player campaign in co-op or play against each other. When the players die in multiplayer mode, they can immediately respawn and lose any items. I don't know how that would work compared to this, but the way that it's even called in Quake Champions would make sense because, you know, it sounds like, oh, you're going to have predetermined characters in the same way. Just please don't have a shop system. Is this actually something popular or what? How can you play now? And I've never even heard of it or seen any reference to it. Quake Champ. That was so shocking actually to see that the Avatar game wasn't actually on Steam. It was only on the fucking like Epic Game Store or somewhere else. Definitely they were going to compete in this fast-paced shooter that combines the mythos of the original Quake with the skill-based combat of Quake 3 Arena. Become a champion. Criminally underrated game, hard as fuck but super fun. Deserves more attention, more support, new champions. Okay, that would tell you right there. A campaign. I don't know if that's how Quake games originally always were. Yeah, let me consider that. That would be kind of cool because that would be off the wall and not something I expected at all, which is kind of what Paladins was. I'm gonna do Smite. I've already decided, but whatever. We're just kind of fucking around, doing just chatting. What else would I even have to do if I had extra time? Like, oh, I could do Season of Discovery, but I think I just don't even have the energy for that. If I had more time these days, I would, but I barely had time to even do that hardcore classics. You saw how long that took. Like, it took me literally months to get to like level 20. On one hand, because I played so little, only once a week for a couple hours, but also because I was really trying to take it slow, which I'm still would try to do in that. Paladins, CF2, Gundam Evolution. Yeah, those are at least a couple of good suggestions there that we found. Or that's more for the what do you call it? For like the Saturday format. I don't know what the fuck that even is. Paragon's the Overprime, Dota 2, Vainglory, mobile shooter, or no, mobile MOBA with shorter games, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon MOBA with short matches. Really? I didn't know this was even a thing. Number 1 anniversary. And not its first anniversary. It's the best anniversary ever. That's why it's number 1. Why is it written like that? There's so many of these throwaway type of games where these companies, you know what this is? It's like when you see Coke come out with some weird fucking flavor or something. Like, they have so much money to throw around that they just dump it. Like, oh, Pokemon makes billions of dollars from the cards in the video game, so let's make some random shit. Let's make whatever. They have Pokemon Go. Let's just make all these weird kind of genre games just to give them a shot. Let's make Detective Pikachu. Like, these are not things they would normally do, but because they just have so much money to burn, why not? Good platform selection. What does that mean? Oh, just like it's on on Switch. That's kind of cool. Actually, I never use my Switch for anything, and I still wouldn't use it for that even. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Song of Nunu? What? Oh, just because it's related to League in some way. And they made they made like a League TV show, they made like a League this thing. I was actually kind of excited for this, but then it didn't get very good reviews or something. Although whenever I hear negative things about a game and then I go to play it, I just kind of go in very objectively and open-minded, and then I end up actually typically liking it. Like the original Destiny I liked, as far as I got it, and in my first playthrough Permadeath, mobile with map selection, but no customization of character. And as much as I criticize the shop meta, it doesn't really have that, I thought. Accessible with, yeah, over the shoulder. That's the most important thing ever. Although I don't like how it's talked about as being so casual. I didn't think that was a factor. Legends of Runeterra is a card game, though, dude. Why are you saying that? These lists are so nonsensical. Replacement for League of Legends. Yeah, I mean, this is what I would do if I did a just chatting stream. Let's just talk about random stuff and try to pick a game to play, and then I spend more time picking the game than actually playing the game. Dota 2. Okay, last list here. Wild Rift would be kind of funny, but I don't know. Like, you can probably play it on PC. You could, like, I don't know what the point of it is. The free-to-play game is a modified version of the PC game League of Legends. Yeah, why isn't League of Legends on console? Oh, right, because console sucks and you wouldn't even be able to do it, even though the way that League has such few abilities would actually make it so that it would be viable to do that. Right, like compared to an MMO where you have like 100 abilities. Smite. Yeah, that was my favorite thing about Smite. It's like League of Legends with a proper camera perspective that actually is immersive and better. That's all you would ask for. Here's the Storm, Strife. Some games just like with their UI, like Strife has such a shit UI to it based on that one image alone that the only time I've ever seen it in my life, it makes it look too similar to those games and lacks a sense of personality in and of itself, right? Like where, oh, it's trying to be like Dota and it's trying to appeal to that, but it just looks too much like them. It doesn't have, like, at least, okay, this has its own art style and whatever, but Heroes Evolved, it's not even the art style of this, but it's the fact that we have League of Legends at home. League of Legends at home. Literally, the environment looks like it's taken right out of there. It's like all those WoW clones, whatever that you see, Chinese WoW clones or something that, you know, just they look exactly the same or whatever. They just rip off of it so much. So what else could I look at here? Let's look at games like Overwatch. I think I already did that though. Overcooked appears before Overwatch. Imagine that. Dead game. Alternatives to Overwatch. Some of these suggestions are so off the wall though. Like this guy's talking about play Hades. That's not even a multiplayer game, I don't think. Gundam Evolution. Okay, we've seen that. Yeah, let's just see what he lists. Valorant is okay, but we won't do it now. Right, that could be saved for later. Team Fortress 2, Apex Legends. But yeah, everybody looks at some of these games like that's the only thing that you ever want to do, or like by simply playing it, oh, you know, like with all due respect, and some people are very nice and helpful, but like I'm playing chess, right, on stream a lot, which I guess the act of streaming it is a little more high standard based too. But you would think about it like only 130k members? Holy shit. The original Overwatch Reddit must have much more than that. But they probably got rid of it too because there is no original Overwatch anymore. All the threads would just be, I wish this game was still playable. Or I wish they didn't make a phony kind of sequel that basically is a update in disguise. But no, like with... the point is that... You know, you go to play chess or you stream chess and people are like, oh, do you want coaching and this and that? It's like... You are ultimately just playing the game. So even though it's a nice gesture, there's something buried within that that's still like, you don't do that with most games, right? You wouldn't go into somebody's whatever. Like that's one of the biggest forms of content or the bait or the social element. I enjoy Paladins. Feels more rewarding. Um, feels way more rewarding. What is that random quote? But no, basically you feel like you're able to do something along the lines of controversial. What is all this random shit, dude? One of my favorite things about Manning Mercy early, I like how they changed McCree's name to something else because the guy was based on somebody in real life who did something bad at some point. All these random things. Like, why do you have to change his name? It's just a name, like, of a character in a fictional game. You could just say it has nothing to do with that. I hate that. They turned it into Cassidy of all things, which is like some of these stories. If you just don't even want to know, like it's probably just dumb. There's no good reason for it. When I heard the name McCree at any time during the game, I didn't know what it was based on. Like it's a cool name. It fit the guy. It was good. Like, what are some good first-person shooter games like Overwatch that have similar gameplay mechanics with different heroes and maps? Squad. But these are like different questions. Your Fortress 2 and Paladins obviously come to mind. Actually, Paladins wouldn't have come to mind because I didn't really ever know anything about it until whatever recently. So that one was always kind of off the wall and a little bit unique, and it had been out for at least a lot longer than I expected. What was I saying? Oh yeah, just the assumption that you're trying to commit to a game, or like that's all whatever, like the only game you ever want to play, or you want to make a big thing out of it, or you want to commit to it, you want to play it all day every day, you want to coach at it, you want to turn it into a career. Like, you could just say like, sir, this is a first playthrough, this is a dude coming home from work just wanting to play a game. So there is a sense of that. And then on the flip side, if you wanted to be like that, then you should be a professional player yourself. And it's just that simple. You should be a title player in chess, grandmaster, esports player, like what? But there's this halfway, again, fake elitism. Like they're not that good, but they want to talk shit or they want to lord over other people or act like, oh, haha, look how good I am. So you can always bait that out. Like just act like you're bad at stuff, which is clearly what I do, just so that people watch you or try to help you, because people love doing that. They love acting like they're smarter than you. Controversial winter event is a disaster of framing, anger, surprise, and what we wanted was players have more choice. Winter event. The choice for players is in the free pass. If you don't pay, you have a choice of skins. However, when you buy the premium pass, you should get everything. Adding a third layer is greedy. Sense of pride and accomplishment. The season of giving give us more money. I mean, stuff like that never even bothers me anyway because I don't care about cosmetics typically, unless, apparently, except in Magic the Gathering Arena where I waste so much of my fucking gold on it. But even then, it's in a free-to-play sense, so I wouldn't really care. Oh, this is on Switch too, so Switch actually has a decent number of MOBA type things in there. So yeah, that's the end of that series. We will do Smite, I guess, starting next Wednesday. The only other slot that I'm kind of craving, if I think about all the days that I have, aside from even like a dedicated hard mode slot, which is Friday, but getting hijacked by the secondary sort of random multiplayer game, that's kind of the one I wanted to continue. Like PvZ Heroes slot is supposed to be like every week it could be a different multiplayer game of some kind. Just like anything, it could be War Thunder, like whatever people request, or Battlefront, or just any random thing, just as a one-off, or I could make like a little mini series out of it. But the little mini series of Heroes has gone on way too long, and that's almost like a main series in its own right. So Monday is Magic, Tuesday is Chess. Those are like mainstay things that'll probably never really change. I mean, at least I'll always do them in some form, even if I change the day or whatever. Then Wednesday is going to be the Permadeath multiplayer Gauntlet, which again can always be different, but we'll, at least when we commit to one, we do it for the whole series. So Smite, I don't know whether Smite gives you free heroes or not. That'll be interesting to see, because we relied and milked on them so much here, whereas in Overwatch you didn't have that, so that obviously ended even more unceremoniously than this. But I'd almost have to set a rule where you can't abuse that entirely, as long as you have to win like at least one game per episode or do something. It's kind of hard to set a criteria though because of how short some of these episodes actually are. And so then the other point is that, okay, so then Thursday is Arc. Now that slot is meant more for, some sort of long-winded single player experience. So it could mean like an MMO single player experience, like, okay, we're doing hardcore classic. So it's meant to be a long sort of permadeath series that's going to, I don't know, like just last a long time and be very in-depth and thorough. So you take your time. So I was doing hardcore classic, then we moved on to Destiny, then we move on to Arc. So it's kind of hard to explain. It's like you're playing a multiplayer game like it's a single player game, and it's also permadeath, and it could also be a first playthrough. Obviously with WoW it wasn't that, but in a manner of speaking it was like, oh, first playthrough as Horde kind of, and first playthrough as a Hunter. But no, then Destiny obviously was a first playthrough permadeath. Arc is a first playthrough permadeath, even though it's like a hybrid on that, like how it's not really permadeath. Like you have 12 lives instead of having one life, just because that game is so ridiculous to whatever extent that it seems impossible to do it in the other way. But even for the literal creator of that first playthrough permadeath format, I still can't seem to handle it. But whatever, we're on life 2 in that. Then Friday is the hard mode slot, normally PvZ hard mode, and then followed by PvZ heroes, which again, those 2 slots are worth noting. Wednesday is the permadeath multiplayer gauntlet, where you go through like all the heroes, and if you lose you can't play as them anymore, whatever. So that always dictates the end of it. But the Friday one would be a random multiplayer game, like for example, just anything you feel like, with no format to it, or it could be like a little mini thing where you still have the permanent thing, but you can just do it as like a one-off. So whenever I feel like playing a multiplayer game, I can just do it, and there doesn't have to be any special criteria to it. So any of the ones like we just saw, like, oh, I could just play PlanetSide this Friday, and then next Friday I could just do whatever, Guncraft or some other block, whatever that one that seems like a better, newer version of it is. It was kind of a shame that they didn't take advantage of the fact that they were so ahead of their time, though, with Guncraft. And then beyond that, we have Saturday as the flex format, where I play something different every week, either something I haven't played ever before, or just something I haven't played in a long time is kind of the adjustment to that. And then Sunday is obviously just Hearthstone. So yeah, like at least 3 of those are solid ones that would never change. Magic, chess, and Hearthstone we would do pretty much until they go offline. Haha, with chess, like it's never going to, but we'd always keep that in our rotation. That's almost the right way to look at chess. Then obviously Wednesday and Friday are flexible, are going to keep changing. Saturday keeps changing. Thursday is at least a long series, but it will still change eventually. Either you beat the game or you die, you lose all your lives. And then, it's just like for chess, you should almost concede to the fact that you have to do it over a long period of time. You should do it like that. Like at least if you play once a week, you'll kind of stay in touch and still be whatever, improving or staying at a certain level, even though it doesn't seem to help me at all that way. I still have to do things for longer periods of time to really get immersed and invested in them, regardless of ability or learning aspects. It's just not fun, if you play like an hour a week. But yeah, those 3 would be mainstay series, so the rest are kind of flexible. And I don't know, I just felt like doing like a long just chatting section here, or I guess just because I died on Nyx, that was a little bit disappointing. But at least as far as my stats go, those could have been 2 of my best games ever. Like whatever, it just felt like I was doing better than most other people in there. 111k damage. You could say, oh, that's just what the character is about, but we didn't get that on any other character or any other tank. So what was so harsh about that, which is obviously true with this format anyway, is that we're playing a lot of those characters for the first time. This is my first time playing the game. It's my first time playing the character. It's my first time, whatever, doing everything. But then it's also permanent on top of that. So it's almost like, oh, you should get some sort of training mode or training game, but that's not really fair either. But no, like with some games, it could be possible, like, oh, we've played some of these characters before, or we played the game before, but we're still doing it in a gauntlet sense. Like in League, not that it would help me now because the game is probably so unrecognizable and different, but at least a lot of those characters I played before, the maps, the game itself, I have at least played in some form, although maybe not as much as you might think when you say that. Like when you say even with chess, oh yeah, I play chess. People think, oh wow, you're a try hard and you play all day every day, or you just play a game here and there. It doesn't mean like you're defined by that completely, but